Hey everybody, so glad you're here. I am joined today by Dianna Demmel up in Bonnie Lake, Washington. And so we're going to have a little time today with Dianna where she's going to just take us through some of her journey in the aesthetics business. And, I think she's had a couple of entrepreneurial experiences along the way. So Dianna, welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Eric. I'm glad to be here.
Awesome. Well, this is really one of our first interviews in the Six-Figure Esthetician. And of course, being that we are the Six-Figure Esthetician group, I'm really focused on helping as many folks that want to hit six figures get there in their business, via digital marketing strategies, digital marketing setups, and ultimately just the ambition level that everybody might have. We're all different, to possibly even get to seven figures. And I think your story is really wonderful because you're approaching that landmark. So, it'd be great if you just kind of took us back a little bit and told us about how you began on your entrepreneurial journey, and time frames would be great.
Okay. I started school back in 2013, aesthetics school. My husband called it my midlife crisis career change. I was almost 50 years old when I started school. So much older than most of the students.
Right. But you've also probably got some experience at that point in business doing other things. And so making the leap into business at that point for yourself was probably, you had some confidence with that.
Absolutely. And the driving factor for me in starting my own business straight out of school was that I felt that I was a little too old and long in the tooth to start out the bottom working for someone else. I didn't have the time. I didn't feel like I had that time to work my way up.
Right, right. Well, along the way, you got that confidence from somewhere. So what was it that you were working on, or what business were you working on prior to the aesthetics business?
Just prior to the aesthetics business, I was, I've done a lot of them old. I've done a lot of things in my life. I had my own daycare at one point. I was a dental assistant. I taught special ed for a large school district. My last job prior to aesthetics school was I was a private caregiver. I was a private caregiver for over 30 years, working with physically and developmentally disabled people.
Wow, what an awesome story, and commitment to people's well-being. And that sort of tells me a little bit about how maybe you landed in the aesthetics field with the beauty and wellness factor. You're committed to helping people feel beautiful and good about themselves, it sounds like.
Yes, that's one of our missions is just educating our clients and helping them to improve the health and the health and appearance of their skin. Absolutely.
Fantastic. So 2013, that's when you began school. How long was the coursework?
The coursework for me, because I put in as many hours as I could, I actually graduated early. So I was only there, I believe, a little over 6 months total.
Okay. So in 2013, you went and you did all the coursework, you got licensed, and then you immediately went and you started your practice.
I did. The day that I graduated in the morning. By that afternoon, I was in Olympia taking one of my state board tests.
Wow.
And I opened my own business a month later.
That's fantastic. And where did you open the business?
I started out in a very small room inside of a salon. And
was that in a pretty big business center, a town, or what kind of a population were you serving?
That was in Puyallup. I opened up my first business in Puyallup, Washington. Puyallup's a pretty big town, pretty big city, and there are 3 or 4 spas on every corner. So a lot of competition.
Right, right. How did you differentiate yourself? How did you attract your first clients?
I discounted, and looking back, I wish I hadn't done that.
Right, right. So when you say discounting, were you like couponing, like doing the Groupon thing, or those kind of efforts?
Yes, I did Groupon and then continued to offer Groupon pricing. I worked 12 to 14-hour days. I took no breaks.
Right. Well, that's hard, and I totally understand and appreciate the, willingness to go commit to your business and understanding that cash flow is really important, right? So for any business owner, I mean, cash flow and profits, those are the two things we're chasing. And, ultimately you need to, be busy. And that's the perceived thing that most everybody is challenged with, is thinking that you need to be busy all the time to achieve those financial goals. And that's not always the case.
That's very true.
How did you learn that lesson, and where was that magical moment where you said, you know what, I'm busting my butt and I really don't need to? What was sort of that aha moment where you went, I'm going to do it a little differently?
The aha moment for me was when I was completely booked from opening till closing. And I said, people are going to come back to me regardless, for the quality, the service. And
Yep.
when I began to build relationships, for me, I finally got it through my head that it wasn't about chasing the money. It was about building honest, sincere relationships with people. If you are able to build honest, sincere relationships with people, the money will follow.
Isn't that the truth? That is just so truthful right there. And in business, we're all challenged with, in the beginning, not having those relationships and trying to figure out where they're going to come from. And otherwise, how do you tell everybody that you're even available? What was, so the Groupon strategy worked. You got people coming in to get to know you, and at some point, how long did it take? Was that a year, 6 months, 2 years? When did you
So
go, I'm so busy, I need to take my prices up?
not even a year, Eric, truly. It was amazing. Within 9 months, and even before that 9-month mark, I had outgrown my little space. And the motivating factor for me to move and expand and to grow into myself, grow into where I needed to be, was I was burglarized. And so I no longer felt comfortable at the salon I was at.
Ah, that's a true violation in every way.
Absolutely.
All the things you work hard to earn and protect, and somebody comes in and, well, yeah, that's awful. I'm sorry to hear that. So you got through that, and that was a sort of the motivator, the impetus for moving into a more secure space, a bigger space, a shared space still, or was it now your space?
It was basically my space. So I moved right across the street, up 3.5 flights of stairs, no elevator, into a 2 treatment room space inside of a building with other businesses. But that the burglary was that motivating factor. I knew I needed to move long before that, and I just wasn't motivated to do so. Once I made that move, my business exploded, and I needed to start hiring.
Right, right. So did you have maybe a relationship with the school where you attended to help sort of nurture some of those relationships of new hires?
Yes, my aesthetics instructor was still instructing there at that time, and she would make recommendations to me for students that she thought were highly skilled.
Right, right. So how many people did you have in your staff at the end of year one?
So at the end of my first year, there were 3 of us.
And everybody's fully booked. And are you still group hunting at that point, or just leveraging the relationships that came from that?
We were still group hunting at that point.
Okay. At what point then in year two did you realize that something needed to change, that you need to discount your services? Where did that happen?
That happened, I believe, midway through year 2 in business.
So are we into 2014 now, like halfway through 2014, or 2015?
We're into about 2015 now.
So 2015 is really year two. And that's where you recognize prices needed to be adjusted. You've got some clientele that's predictable and reliable, and they come to see you on a regular basis, a couple other ladies helping you. And so now that's feeling good. You're in you got that first pillar sort of built, and you're thinking about the next pillar. Take me through that.
So the next one was we outgrew our space again. So we ended up leasing a space we're up on the 3rd floor. So we ended up leasing another space down on the 2nd floor, which gave us a few additional rooms.
Great. So you hired
And
another couple of people. That's awesome. Was it, where along the way did you sort of decide that you needed to think about, expanding your strategy for attracting clients, and what did that look like?
So that came from asking clients, follow up with clients, after their service, reaching out to them, a day or two later, and asking them to give us feedback on our services and what they would like, where they saw we needed to improve, where they thought we were doing well,
How did you
and
do that?
asking if they would recommend us.
Was that like in an email, or did you use some other like survey thing, or what? How did you do that?
Calls and texting.
Calls and texting. So you had the personal information and you were just comfortable reaching out in that mode.
Absolutely.
That's fantastic. So did you feel at that point like a website was going to be helpful, or thinking about, engaging in social media? Where did you see the next step in your evolution of the business?
Right. Yes, that was one of the mistakes I made when I began business. I had no website, no social media, no networking at all. So getting clients was tough. So I finally got it together, developed a website, um, started engaging in social media.
So
So
that's
that
we're in
was a
2015
game
now.
changer. I'm sorry?
We're like in 2015 now, where you're recognizing I need to put some things in place.
Correct.
So at the end of, well, take us through 2015. You've already, got these 4 or 5 rooms, it sounds like, in this building that are, fully utilized. You're busy, things are going well, and you're now thinking about expanding again.
Yes. So I held off on that for a while. I was a little scared to make that investment financially. Kind of wanted to hang on to the money that I had, because once I started hiring and became an employer, obviously my taxes and all that kind of things, those kind of changed. So I just wanted to kind of, be cautious to see what was I looking for paying out.
Yeah,
So
well, that's important. You want to do everything in a measured way. So at this point, it sounds like you're probably a 6-figure esthetician by that point, with 4 or 5 rooms fully booked all the time.
yes.
Great. And does that mean, can I ask you a little bit personally about how your revenues grew over this period of time?
So revenue grew by increasing our prices, um, just making smarter business decisions, smarter purchasing decisions, be it products or supplies. Cut out things that we truly didn't need. Started getting rid of disposable items and getting items that could be reused legally.
Right.
So
So which services are you focused on at this point?
we are known for Brazilians. Brazilians are our bread and butter. We do 1,000,001 other things, but Brazilians are what we are most known for.
Great. So when you think about bringing somebody into the spa and they're, primarily there for the Brazilian waxing, are there other treatment options that you give them or move them through? So where you've got a captive audience now, you've got somebody in the spa. How do you keep them there longer to, take more services?
Well, first we begin by obviously recommending post-treatment products for their Brazilian. So when they run out of those, they're going to come back and get them because they're very effective. And while we have them on the table for the Brazilian, we're also able to talk about other things that they might be interested in. I have a good look at their skin, for example, and I could say, hey, like skin tags or cherry angiomas, hey, we treat those.
And so then from there, you can move them into another room where somebody else could take them and deal with that particular treatment or protocol.
Yes.
So when you think about how that works in your business, is there, are all the ladies trained to take them through that exercise? Is there some, formal thing that you do as people are coming into your business to teach them how to move somebody from one service and into another? Or is it just everybody kind of winging it?
No, we do have a protocol for that, and all of my employees will do that. So they know that while they have that client there, that there's always something else that a client needs. But they're also trained to never ever suggest or try to push a treatment or a service that that client does not truly need. We're never ever to recommend something just to make a dollar.
So integrity is a big deal.
Absolutely. If it's not something that will benefit that client or they don't truly need it, then we will not recommend it. Or if the client themselves suggests it, we'll explain the reason why we don't think that that is appropriate for them.
That's great. So there's an educational component here for the client, and ultimately you take the time up front to have these discussions and, explain the expectations and protocols of your employees.
Absolutely.
That's great. Well, God bless you for doing that. I'm sure everybody appreciates it, and that's why they keep coming back, because they recognize the truthfulness and the integrity as a part of your
That's what our clients, that's the feedback we get from our clients, that they appreciate that honesty, and they said it instills trust and confidence.
That's fantastic. Have you, sort of taken it to the next step where you ask your clients if they're happy to maybe go out and post on social media? I know it's something I talk about all the time, right? So, I think we did our little digital audit, and there's always opportunities for us to, get that social proof. And asking a happy customer to post on Google or post on Facebook, or, make some social comment about the quality and great experience they've had. That's always something I encourage people to do. Is that something that you're doing as well?
That's something that I think that we could do better at. I personally generally don't. I kind of have, it's a two-edged sword for me. And on one edge of the sword, I feel that if I'm asking for that maybe that it won't be, I want truthful, honest, heartfelt reviews. But I do believe that that's something that I probably should be doing. I know that some of my employees do ask, because I've been seeing a lot more reviews naming particular employees of mine. So I think that they are definitely asking. What I do, and am very good at, is I hand every single client a referral card. So when they leave, if they refer someone to us for a regularly priced service, they get 10% off their next service, and the person they referred to gets 10% off their first service with us.
Oh, great. Is that working pretty well?
It is. Most of our clients now come from referrals.
Fantastic. Fantastic. So at this point, we're in 2015. You're doing a lot of things really well. You've learned a lot of things. You now have a website and social presence, and you've got a pretty stable clientele, but you've still got ambition. You want to continue to grow and expand. And so you're looking at another location at this point, I guess, right? Awesome, Dianna. Well, this whole referral program that you're explaining to everybody, I hope everybody is doing something similar, or can take some of these, some of this lesson work and apply it in their business. But this is all just sort of building blocks for you too, right? You're really positioning yourself now with the referral program to get to the next place. What is that?
So the next place was growing and expanding again. And we decided that it didn't make good business sense to lease another suite in the same building that we were in. It made much better business sense to expand into another city. And so I did.
Wow. Which city did you choose?
I chose Bonnie Lake. I had been eyeing a suite corner unit in a nice, busy little strip complex for about a year and a half.
So Bonnie Lake is just a place that you visit, that you like to spend time, and otherwise kind of a natural fit with you to just have a business presence there too.
Correct. I actually live in Bonnie Lake. I live right down the street from the space that we ultimately opened up here.
Wow, that's fantastic. So how far away geographically from the other salon, from the other spa?
GPS says 20 minutes. It takes me 12.
Okay. Yeah. What's the population of Bonnie Lake? Just, curious.
I'm not sure what the population, it has exploded. When I first moved out here 17 years ago, there was nothing here. I think we had maybe 3 stoplights. It was a ghost town pretty much. And it has exploded, which is why I had been eyeing this spot here in Bonnie Lake. I knew that I needed to get it now, because if I didn't get it now, within a year or two, I'd be priced out. I wouldn't be able to get it.
Right. So just instinctually, just being tuned into the market where you live is important, and to make good, prudent business decisions, you need to do that. So That's awesome. And you're just down the street from where you live, and so this town, it sounds like what, it may be what, in the 50 to $100,000 or 100,000 person arena.
Oh, yeah, I think there's more now. They've built over, I think over 40,000 new homes,
Wow,
new neighborhoods. Costco came into town.
got it.
Uh,
Okay, so it's a bigger center.
Correct. And actually, it pays to build personal relationships and with your clients, honest and sincere relationships, because one of my clients is also a part-time, in addition to her other job, she's a part-time property manager. And when I told her I was looking for another space in a different city, she said, let me help you. And when I found this place here in Bonnie Lake, which is a beautiful 8-room spa, she said, let me negotiate the price for you. She got it negotiated down to half of what the property management was asking for.
Wow. Okay. Well, good move there. That's awesome. So now, what are we, late 2015 where you opened this location?
No, this was in 2017.
Oh,
Or
2017.
the
Okay.
end of 20, the end of 2016, we opened up the Bonnie Lake location.
Got it. Got it. Okay. So there was a time where you, in 2015, late 2015, decided you were, as you were talking about, sort of in a good spot. You didn't want to move too quickly. You wanted to just start planning. And that's where the referral business started to really take hold. You expanded to a place where you had a level of comfort, that it was busy and going to be self-sustaining over time as you took on the next location. And now you're there, and that's 2017. So we're 2 years into that next location.
Yes,
And so that location now is 8 rooms, and you've got how many people working in there?
there are 5.
5. Okay. That's fantastic. So now, where are you with your revenues at this point?
So we are almost at the 7-figure mark right now, and super, super excited. I think this year we're going to break that 7-figure ceiling.
Wow, $1 million in 2 locations with, let's see, 5 plus. How many in the other location? In the first location?
How many employees in the first location?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4. 4.
So 9
But
plus
some of them
use.
work part-time there, some work part-time in the other location also.
That's awesome. So call it 10 people in 2 locations, servicing how many clients a year do you think?
Thousands a year.
That's awesome. And there's no more Grouponing.
There is, and the reason why we still do Groupons is because some of my employees are newer and they don't have they have not built their clientele yet. So we're still Grouponing for them, helping them to build their clientele. The gals who have been with me for 4 or 5 years now already have their clientele built. They are steadily booked.
Got it.
And our clients are comfortable with those particular estheticians. So we're still doing Groupons, but for our newer estheticians who have just come on board with us recently, once their books are built, we're going to turn Groupon off.
Yeah, good, good. Well,
And Groupon is good for slow times.
right, right. Well, there's other options, right? And so, as I have done several of these digital audits across, I don't know, I think about 50 businesses now, there's a common theme, and there's some common opportunities available for all of you, and yourself included, Diana. When I look at the website and the social media setup, and really connecting everything together to be able to make offers to your perfect ideal customers, right? So that's kind of the
Correct.
next step. Do you feel like that's a logical thing for you to do?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Good. Well, the digital audit piece, I think, is just a good way to, sort of get a reflection of where you're at today. And I'm happy to do that. It's a big part of the value proposition that we're trying to build here for everybody. And then, the next step is learning how to get there yourself or taking on the help. And so, yeah, I appreciate, you letting me do that for you, and us continuing to work and talk about it.
Absolutely. I appreciate you doing that for me, and I'm so looking forward to working with you on that.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah.
Very valuable. Very valuable. I highly recommend it.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Yeah, yeah. We'll there's more to do there. There's going to be some things dropping quickly with master classes and other service opportunities. So everybody can keep an eye out for that in the group. But we're here to talk about you, and really, I think just I want to just deliver the inspiration through you to the group, to everybody listening, that, it's not only six figures that's possible and right in front of you if you want it. It's seven figures if you do it the right way, if you plan and, you know, uh, ultimately execute well and deliver good, you know, results for your clients and build those relationships. I mean, it's all kind of right in front of you. What's your ambition level? Where do you want to be with your business?
Absolutely. And it's all about ambition. It's all about having a dream, setting goals, um, making plans and executing those goals, working on those goals every day.
Right.
One of our goals was to diversify, and we have successfully done that with the launch of our own branded skincare products. So we're pretty excited about that.
That's fantastic. Is that just coming to market now, or have you been working at that for a while?
We've had it out for a few months, and we just keep slowly but surely expanding our line. So we started out with just a few of our own branded products, and as they were well accepted, we began adding more to the line.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So tell me, I mean, now that you're coming up on that seven-figure mark and you've got a really nice, stable, reliable, predictable way of getting new customers and keeping the old ones, what's next?
We are in the market for a third location as we
Wow,
speak. I have 2 property managers out scouting for me now.
that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, by the next time we talk, or maybe in the master class, you'll be able to share with everybody where that stands and where do you think, or what's your timeline to get there?
I think within the next year or two, there's no rush. We've been busy. We also do education. I do have 2 licensed aesthetics instructors, so we also hold classes and train and certify other professionals. So we're between that, the 2 locations, our own skincare brand, pretty darn busy at the moment.
That's fantastic. Well, you're meeting all your own ambitions and you continue to plan and execute against a great strategy. And well, I'll be excited to work with you to help you get there.
Great. Thank you. I'm so looking forward to it.
Yeah, no, this is great, Diana. Well, I think that's probably, unless you have something else that you would like to share here, any summation remarks for the group or for our audience listening here. And we're gonna produce this and publish this across our podcast and our YouTube channel, and through the Six Figure Esthetician group. So I want to get as big, broader reach as possible, and just share this story with as many people as we can, because I know there's a lot of ladies out there in their business running around as solo estheticians where they might have that ambition to do exactly what you've done. So this is great encouragement for them.
Absolutely. I guess I would leave it at don't be afraid. You've got to step out of your comfort zone or you won't grow. Just do it.
Right. Yeah. I've always said, I've been an entrepreneur a long time. I've been around a lot of successful entrepreneurs, and what is a common theme across all of them is their willingness and ability to get uncomfortable, because it's gut wrenching, right? I mean, it's like, you're taking on more responsibility, you're taking on financial risk, you're taking on emotional risk, because what if it doesn't work? You have to be willing to, recognize that some things might not work, and to learn from it, and then just continue to grow and expand and think about what to fix, what you can learn from that failure. Because let's face it, nobody learns anything from doing things the right way. You learn from making mistakes, and just don't be afraid to make a few mistakes along the way, and just recognize it's going to help you make better decisions as you grow.
Absolutely. You've got to take risks.
Good. Well, at the end of the day,
What
if
if
you
it does work?
organize, yeah, right. What if it does work? Then what? Holy crap! Now I got to go do it again. I know. It's exciting. It's nerve-wracking, and there's days where you wake up and you go, "Why am I doing this?" And there's other days you go up, "This is just so clear to me why I'm doing this." Right. So we all have that same shared experience as entrepreneurs and small business owners. And again, I think that's a great reason and a value in the group, is that there's so many of us, or so many of you, in this business, that can share stories and support each other. And it takes a village. It does. Nobody needs to operate by themselves, and it can be very lonely if you don't let yourself be a bit vulnerable and ultimately be a part of a bigger community. So I think and feel like that's really a big part of my mission, is helping facilitate that.
Right. And I think a big part too is you've got to increase your presence and take that digital marketing class with Eric.
Right on. Yes, we're going to do more of that. There's going to be a lot of that coming, and I'm going to just dedicate resources to helping everybody get where they want to go. You know, it's not a race; it's a marathon, and let's just get you there. So I think we're going to wrap with that, Dianna. That's fantastic. We'll do this again. We'll do another check-in when you launch that third location. Everybody, thanks for listening. We'll see you in the group, or if you're on the podcast or YouTube channel, thanks. Just comment, subscribe, like below. Let us know you were here, and we'll see you next time.
All right. Thanks, Eric. Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Bye-bye.